What's up, YouTube? Scott Lett here, owner of Pro Exterior Cleaning and Let's Repair It LLC. It is almost 11 o'clock. I will be back in Birmingham at 1:30. I left at 4:30 this morning to hit the road, and I am worn slap out. Didn't really go to bed early last night, so I'm running on fumes right now. But I was just cruising, listening to some music, and a guy asked a question on one of my videos. This is an older video. It's a really good question, and I probably should have covered this already. I don't know if I have or not, maybe briefly. But we're going to discuss this topic, and then I'm going to follow it with something else, and then give you guys a few updates. So the question was, do you go out and meet your customer, get on site for estimates, or do you do everything over the phone? My answer to that question is yes. I do both. For me personally, my personal preference, I love getting my eyes on the job site. Okay? One, the customer is going to appreciate, if they're okay with it, they're going to appreciate you taking the time to come out and to look at the property. Okay? It's more professional to me, in my eyes. If I were to hire someone to come put in floors in my house or do electrical work, I would love for them to come see the job, not just show up and just get to work, right? So in my mind, yes, it's going to take time out of your day. Yes, you're going to spend money and gas driving out there. But to get your eyes on the job is only going to better prepare you for what the job really entails, okay? Because if you don't do any of those things, you just show up to a job and where's the water? Oh, does he really want me to clean? Does he want me to clean this section? Or what I'm saying is there's going to be some mass confusion, especially in the commercial world, if you do everything over the phone, okay? And things on the internet and pictures are always different than what they look like in person. I'm telling you guys. And also, you're missing out on the relation part. Like going out there and getting in front of your customer and letting them know who you are, explaining your process, letting them see your setup is only going to better your chances of getting the job. And guess what? If you don't go out there, you're missing on chances to upsell. They may be calling you to come out there and surface clean all of the concrete, but they may have north-facing brick walls that are covered in mold mildew, and you can upsell them on that and give them a good price. So my personal preference, in my opinion, the most professional way to handle estimates is to offer to go on site, get your eyes on the job. It's going to help you better prepare. You can ask questions while you're there. You're just going to have more knowledge of the job when you're out there, and you're going to give yourself an opportunity to leverage upsells. Okay, the guys who are doing it over the phone, everything over the phone, I just think that's kind of lazy and unprofessional, and you're missing out on money. That's how I see it. But the flip side of that is we're also in different times in the service industry, right? It doesn't matter if it's pressure washing, cutting grass, electrical work, plumbing, whatever it might be. We have a virus floating around out there that people are scared to death of, and they still want your services, but they don't want you to come to their site. It's commercial and residential, right? Now, in that instance, in that case, you have to respect their space, their opinion, and I get that. And if that happens, I will really encourage them to send me as many pictures as possible. And one of my first questions as well is, where is your water source? Do I need a water key? Is there a fire hydrant? I need to fill my tanks up. I really explain my process to them so they can really explain to me, what's on the property as far as water. Water is the biggest aspect of any power washing job. Like my old business partner, I just talked to him a second ago. He has an easy job today. It's like a $600 job. It's going to take him maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. He's got 2 10-gallon per minute machines, but he now said he's going to be out there 4 hours because the water pressure is awful and his tanks are taking forever to fill up. I said, well, did you go out there and look at the job first? He said he did not. So that is a prime example, okay? And it's happened to me before. I've had my moments where I'm lazy. I don't feel like going 30 minutes down the road to look at the job, and I get out there and, you know, there's rust stains, there's oil stains on the driveway, and I'm like, man, I could have upsold that, I could have made more money, but I chose to just do everything over the phone. So my encouragement to you guys, if your customer is okay with you coming out there and getting your, you know, eyes on the job, just do it. It's going to give you more confidence. It's going to help you better prepare. It's going to give you a chance to upsell. You know, if the customer is willing to be there as well, you're going to get to know your customer or your potential customer a lot better. You get to see where your water source is, which is, like I said, a huge aspect of any job. And then while you're there, I mean, a lot of people, they don't like the suspicion of waiting for a price. You can just, you know, the residential world's easy to price, in my opinion. You know, well, hey, here's my price. They don't like it, you can negotiate. If you send something over a text message or a phone call or, you know, or an email, it's easy for them to say no. But when you're right there in front of them, it's really hard for people to say no to you, or they can say, I don't like the price. They're kind of apprehensive about the price. Oh, okay, well, how about this? We can negotiate. So that's a lot easier to do when you're in person. So that is my recommendation to you guys, is get out there, go get your eyes on the job site. It's only going to help you do a better job. It's going to help you upsell. It's going to help you get to know the customer, and it's going to help you land more jobs. And that's one of the things about the industry, guys, is any service industry, you have to adapt. You have to change along with what's going on in the world. And, you know, with the pandemic, you know, I've done a lot of estimates over the phone because of that, but I've gotten some good pictures, you know, but I always ask if I can come on site, or even say, hey, I can come out there. You don't have to be there. If you feel comfortable with me coming to your home or your business, or whatever you're overseeing, without you being there, I'm happy to do that. And I've done that before. I do miss out on the, you know, the relationship part, you know, of giving them the price right then and there. You know, a lot of commercial jobs, there's a lot of calculations involved, right? So some estimates take time. Like the job that I put the $30,000 bid in, I mean, it took me 2 days to solidify those estimates and those bids to submit. Like it took some time to really, you know, add up my expenses, square footage, how many windows there were. It just took some work. And I don't take estimates lightly. I really take my time, think things through, and give them the best estimate that's very reasonable for them, but that at the same time to make that job as profitable for me and my time and my company. So that's another thing, guys, with pricing. You know, when there's a pandemic going on or the stock market's crashing and, you know, the unemployment rate's kind of, you know, raising again, you're going to have to adapt your pricing, right? I know we all want to put out the premium pricing, but if people don't have the money to pay you, you know, you're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to lower your prices, you know. And mainly for residential, that's why I don't spend a lot of time in residential, because residential is directly impacted by the economy and, you know, the condition of our country and all that kind of stuff. But the commercial world, you know, schools, private schools, government work, you know, my niche, apartments are kind of impacted in that sense. But, you know, school systems is, I mean, in a universities, things like that, you can make a lot of money. Government work, like, they have the money. So, and that's kind of what been my mindset has been since going through 2020 in the pandemic and really struggling in the residential world. You know, going after commercial work has been very successful. So you have to adapt, you have to learn, you have to research, and that's only going to help you better prepare to give prices that are going to be competitive, and learn, you know, what's going on with people in your area, your market niche. And you know, if you're just say, these are my prices, I'm sticking to it, and you're not adapting, you're not changing your prices to get jobs, you're not going to make any money. That's just how it works. And you know, and I've had people comment on some of my videos about my pricing and stuff, about how I charge too low or too high. Let me explain something, okay? In a sense, you know, you may be right, you may be wrong, but you got to realize, I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. My prices here in Tulsa are going to be completely different than someone who lives in Hollywood, California. Cost of living there is quadruple the cost of living in Tulsa, right? people are making, I mean, the lower end incomes out there are like 80, 90,000 because the cost of living is so high. You know, even my pricing here in Tulsa compared to Birmingham is a lot different. I was smack dab in the middle of wealth in Birmingham. I'm in a very middle class, upper middle class area in Tulsa. So prices vary all across the country. Like, so when you watch someone's video on YouTube and you're like, man, they way overpriced for that, or they way underpriced for that, like look into where they're at. Like, that has a lot to do with it. So but my pricing and all the research I've done, the price points I've come up with, I feel like are very competitive in my area. When I first moved here, I was pretty pricey, overpricing. I may have dropped too low, but I feel like I have found that happy medium. It really, guys, it takes a year or two to really get there and to learn that. So don't beat yourself too much on the pricing. Just get jobs, get the experience, start making that money. So that's that. That's it for estimates and pricing. Just an update. I landed that $30,000 school, but they want to break it up into like 4 or 5 different cleanings. So I'm waiting to hear back on the final details. So that is a huge client. I gave them a lot of package deals and discounts. In my mind, originally that was about a $40,000 job, but since, you know, this is going to be a long-term client, that's what the guy hiring me told me, I gave them a lot of discounts. But over time, I will definitely bump up my pricing, and I told the guy that. And this is a private school in a very wealthy part of Tulsa, and so I can prove myself, get them as a client, and then, you know, once they see my work, they'll be more willing to pay my prices. And that's just kind of how I went about that. So every bid that I submitted had a package deal, a package discount within the bid. So I landed that. It's going to be a great job. And then this past summer, I drove out to Rogers, Arkansas, and put in 2 bids for 2 different strip malls. I priced them both together at about $10,500. Well, I heard back from that guy, and I should be going to Arkansas pretty soon. So about to get busy, about to get real busy. That's why I'm making this trip to Alabama, see my family before I get too swamped with work. And you know, I should be getting calls from apartments any day now to clean some of their complexes. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to just kind of tell you guys about the estimates and how I do them. If you can get your eyes on the job site, you know, figure out the water situation, you know, and really game plan while you're there. Ask questions to the customer, you know, be relational, sell yourself, you know, gives you a chance to upsell. Those are all components that are going to help you get that job. Now, if you're just like, well, I'd rather just do it over the phone, or, you know, we can do it over email, that gives them a perfect opportunity to just say no. I'm telling you. But if you're there in front of them and you throw out your price in the residential world mainly, they're probably gonna say no, or yeah, that sounds great, or, you know, they're gonna feel bad for saying no, and then you can kind of negotiate. I'm telling you, I've had that happen. So I'm pretty quick in the residential world. I can come up with an estimate pretty quick, because I've cleaned I don't know how many houses and driveways, and, you know, the 4 or 5 years I've been doing this. Commercial takes time. Commercial is mostly emails, phone calls, but that's just kind of how that works. But anyways, guys, I wanted to share that with y'all. You know, really get your eyes on the job site, get out there, and if the customer's unwilling because of COVID, just do the best you can, and just really ask for as much information and ask for pictures. That's going to save you. So, all right, guys, Scott Lett, Pro Exterior Cleaning and Let's Repair It LLC. Probably won't talk to y'all until next week. I have a phone consultation on Monday with a guy, and I'll let you know how that goes. I'm never going to mention names of who I talked to, but I am going to discuss what we talked about. You know, that way you guys can learn. And then I do have a job next week for a handyman, and then I'll be going out to that school to plan for logistics for the lift and stuff like that. So I will take you along that journey of how I plan for this school job. So, all right, guys, Scott Lett, Pro Exterior Cleaning, Let's Repair It LLC. Have a blessed weekend.